stuff. And also, what is the involvement of the utility companies in this as well? If there's an accusation there that they've been neglecting their duties, could we not obtain perhaps some money back for them? And then lastly, what is the true extent of this repair? I'm sure we wouldn't be going through all of this if it was just a little bit of wire that's exposed. So, over to you.
So the first one I'll deal with just first is the involvement of the utility companies. I will pass over to an officer to give a more detailed answer on it, only to say that when I first found out that we were liable for it, my exact questions were along your lines as to why the hell wasn't the utility company doing this, because that was my understanding as well. So I'll pass over to officer on that one. In terms of the point which Councillor Thomas alluded to first, your issue on the maintenance. So whether the work is done today, or whether it was done 10 years ago, 5 years ago, leaseholders will have been billed for it at that point in time. So when you pay a maintenance charge, that money is spent on maintenance. Now, if the situation that you're articulating is, let's say, a wire, for argument's sake, for example, wasn't maintained 5 years ago, that means you weren't billed for maintaining that wire and the works involved in maintaining it 5 years ago. So whether that work happens today, one point in time, 10 years or 5 years in the future, the charge will always be passed on to the leaseholder. So if you didn't receive the charge, work wasn't done, the net impact to yourself will always be the same. Does that make sense?
Could I also ask, apologies for officers, we do have 3 minutes left for public questions. Could I just ask you to briefly talk about the state of this repair? Because obviously you told us already it's not actually a big problem, but we're not doing this work for nothing, are we? So could you elaborate, please?
In terms of the owners of the cable, that for a number of years has been unclear, and UK Power Networks have clarified that situation and have confirmed that basically they are responsible for a certain point, and from the point onwards it is responsibility of the building owner or building manager to deal with those cables. In terms of the points of disrepair, in the past you raised a number of points about where the cable deteriorates. Ultimately, if the cable runs from one place to another, in many instances you have to replace the entire cable. If the cable has deteriorated from one end or the other, I would also confirm that the works have started. We have exposed more existing cabling and have found deterioration in the cabling along its length in various different places as well.
Okay, and last question, please.
Well, I could continue on this one for hours. How can I say? As the telephone cables, BT telephone cables, which I was charging us for, does not belong to us. The same as the utility cables do not belong to us. But we are being charged for them. You are taking them out, putting new ones in, and then putting them back. You've also got the entry door systems, which never worked after the first month that they was in quite a numerous number of blocks, mine included. You're charging us, taking them out, they've never been useful, we've never used them, covering up all new boxing, and then putting that cable back in again, which we are still never going to use. What is the point of taking out the cable, putting up brand new boxing for it, putting that cable in if it's not going to be used? Why don't you just take it out?
Okay, here we have a response, sir, please.
At the moment, all the different types of cabling, those are basically extra low voltage, which will be sort of control cabling like the door entry system and the telecommunications cables are basically in the same contained by the same box setting as providing money. They need to be separated out. In terms of BT cables, obviously those are in use. Like certainly people's telephone lines in their properties. In terms of the door entry system, we have obviously previously advised residents that part of work done consideration and different blocks will be treated differently and the bills will be adjusted accordingly. At the moment, we've already served an estimate of the cost and the invoice has been issued on the basis of 90% of the value of the work. That proposal will be outlined in our response to question 16 is the
if I hadn't submitted these questions, nobody on the estate would know this. So you're talking between yourselves about what you want to do and what you want to do. What about us? We're sitting there with these bills which have come through at the start of works, not going through, and yet you're talking about you're going to do this little bit and you're going to do that little bit, but you're not actually feeding anything back to us whatsoever. We want a proper consultation meeting where we can sit down and discuss all these issues properly and try to resolve them properly. So that where everybody is beneficial to it. It's not just either you get it or we get it. We want it sorted out properly and fairly. That's all we're asking. Not too much to ask.
Okay.
We've been asking that for at least since this work was first put up. And with every time you've had a try to have a meeting or what's known as a consultation meeting, the amount of emails which have flown through, and I'm talking in dozens, literally, and backwards and forwards, it's been the same answer all the time. You're getting what we told you, that's it. There is no investigation. You want a proper investigation into this, sit down to resolve it fairly.
Okay, so thank you for that. You've had actually 2 minutes of you wanted to comment on this item 11 as well. You have 5 minutes, you just had 2, so you've got 3 more minutes if you'd like to comment on the leaseholder discounts on item 11. Then we'll discuss item 11, and then we'll take item 12. We've asked for to comment as well, where you have 5 minutes to comment on that item too. So you have 3 minutes if you wish to comment further on the discounts issue.
Right. Well, basically, I'd like a decision for us to be able to take back to and to discuss with the other leaseholders to let them know, is there going to be a proper consultation meeting where we can sit down and discuss this, or are you suddenly going to come back with, oh, we've decided on this, what you call it, the lower cost of the bills, and then you're going to tell us. Will you come back to us with that right now, please?
Well, the policy has been clarified today, and that's dealt, regardless of the issues around, leaseholders not being liable, whatever they are ultimately found to be liable for, and the works accurately billed, which will be done, then we are tonight talking about that end cost, and I appreciate the issues about ironing that out with residents being discounted according to the policy tonight. If that's your comment, I would ask that Councillor Davey to respond to that, and then we'll take the item as a committee.
I'd just like to know how you can come to a decision with that, respond to that, when you don't know what the final billing is. I mean, it's looking at, from what I've worked out, it's at least half of what you've already billed out. So how can you possibly work out a discount policy on something which is grossly over what we would be getting less anyway? Even the formula which you're using is no good. It's way out. It's biased in front of the floor of the council. It's not justifiable to the leaseholders who are going to be sitting there. You haven't worked out on the true life whatever you're putting in there, which it should be. You're only working out on the 12 year. It's ridiculous. Anybody would say that goes in the bin, mate. It's not there. If those cables are supposed to be a 20 to 30 year lifespan, that's what you base your formula on. Because you're quick to put in anything which is lasting, which you class as a less life on, you're going to overcharge with that. But anything which is going to expand on the 12 year, you're not. So you're building your whatever you call it, discount policy on is unfair formulas. Hasn't been worked out right, hasn't been discussed properly, hasn't been gone through it properly. It's just been a decision that that's going to do, we're going to cap it at that, and we're just going to build it that way. And it doesn't cover the whole estate either, it only covers a couple of blocks.
Councillor Davey, you'd like to respond to that comment?
So, context to all of this, when leaseholders purchase property, the terms of your lease, now I know